Okay guys, I wasn't going to cook today, and in all honesty it's not a Slimming World recipe, so I'm not actually cooking. But this is a recipe that I was asked for. I'm not quite sure how it's going to go because I didn't have the full amount of plain flour, which if anybody sees this and they're American, as you know, plain flour to us is universal flour, all purpose. It's all purpose flour, whereas our self-raising to me is all purpose flour. But okay, so it's plain flour or all purpose flour. This is where you can get rid of your manky bananas, because the mankier the better. So this is why I make this quite often, because the bananas sometimes just don't get eaten. But they are absolutely perfect. The mankier the better for this, because they need to be ripe. In fact, they need to be overripe. So set your oven at 175 or I think it's 350. I think if you've got one of those funny ovens, you know, that doesn't do centigrade. It's probably around about gas mark 4. Right, so this is the hardest part actually. Oh, it's also the most satisfying. Please do not mash them too much, because my banana bread, which is everybody likes, started going really bad, and I couldn't figure out why until I realised I was actually mashing the bananas too much. So you can use a fork, but don't mash the bananas so that they're liquidy, because it's just too much, absolutely too much. And that's the hardest part. And then so you've got 3 to 4 bananas, 1/3 of a cup of melted butter, and if you've melted it, make sure you mix it all in. If it separates, which it will do if you let it stand, it will separate into like the curds and whey thing. So if you melt a huge bit and then don't mix it all back together, you're not going to get the right butter mix. So make sure you stir it and then measure it. So it's 1/3 of a cup of melted butter. Does anybody know what I'm looking for? Sieve. That's what I'm looking for, the sieve. See, just when you think you're getting it all ready, oh, and then it's not. Right. So that was 1/3 of a cup of butter, 3 to 4 bananas. I used 3 because they were quite ripe and they were sort of medium to largish. They weren't particularly small. Right. 1 beaten egg. And then let me just get my other measuring cup. I have 2 sets of measuring cups. One a metal and one a plain. Now you only measure to this one's got a line. I don't know if you can see, it's got a line. Measure to the line. The other thing you need to do is don't scoop. You know, if you keep your flour in a container, don't scoop the cup in, because that compacts your sugar. So you need your flour. So if you're one of these people that keep their flour in a like a flour pot, use a spoon. Use a spoon and put it in that way. Otherwise you'll get too much flour. Then it's a cup of sugar, but depending on how big your bananas are, you can take it down to 3/4 of a cup. Because if your bananas are overripe, they're sweeter. So this is less than a cup, because they were quite ripe bananas. Right, so that's that. This, seriously, it is the easiest recipe you will ever make. And this one uses sodium bicarbonate as opposed to baking powder, and it's 1 teaspoon. Well, I'm going to use a scant teaspoon because this is a mix of plain and self-raising, because I ran out. So I don't have a full, it's probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon. of bicarb. I could have sieved that in with the flour. I didn't. Then I need a teaspoon of vanilla. But you know what? I like vanilla. I tend to free pour, so I'm not going to lie and tell you. The recipe states a teaspoon. Let's pretend that's a teaspoon. I like my vanilla like I like my gin. Free poured. Right, so that's all. And then just sieve in the flour. It's a cup and a half. And don't force it in, otherwise you're actually, don't compact it, don't press it, let it be loose. And that, my darlings, is it. Stir it all together. I have a prepared cake tin, so when it comes out you go, ooh, that's one she bought from the shop. I don't buy, I line my tins. And well, maybe mashing the bananas wasn't the hardest part, maybe this was the hardest part. And then it takes, I've used this recipe, oh goodness me, oh gazillion years. I mean look, my page is falling apart and I know it by heart. And that's it. It's one of those recipes that, you know, just go through. Don't be tough. That's why I'm using a spatula, so it's bending. So if it looks like I'm being rough, I'm not, because it's bending at the bottom of the glass. And I've used a glass dish so you can see. Right, that is it. I'm now going to pour it into the prepared tin. If you wanted to, you could make in little individual ones, or little, I don't know, muffin size ones. There. But that is it. You can level out. Oven's already preheated, and it will take approximately an hour. So I will pop you on pause and come back in an hour. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye. Well, I've just taken it out of the oven. Here it is, one banana cake. Okay. Beautifully risen and brown. I'm going to cut it so you can see inside. Oh, it's hot, 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 hot. There. Let's see if we can get a picture of that. There. There you go. Banana cake. Easiest recipe you'll ever make. Just treat it kindly and it won't let you down. Okay? Enjoy!